Crabb to take the lead for good. Roth went on to take first place in 14 minutes, 35 seconds, absolutely destroying the previous battle record of 14:59. But the Xerox team time was only good enough for 6th place overall. Crabb took second in 14:37, but their team could do no better than 4th place. The fast course produced the best time ever, 32:33 for a team, 41 seconds better than the old mark. And the winning team was Hewlett-Packard with Hank Lawson and Becky Simi-Kasiker. The fastest woman in the race was Sarah Schumacher of Arthur Anderson. She finished the course in 16:31, breaking the old record by 1 minute and 2 seconds. The fastest people in the Masters division. In the men, Clifford Dorland of Plymouth finished in 15:42, breaking the old record of 15:51. And Gail Allen of Amdahl was the fastest woman in the Masters division. She finished in 18:23, smashing the old mark of 18:47. Then Hewlett-Packard got another big boost when Hirsch Jenkins and Nancy Hawks combined for another record time to win the Masters division in 35:20, a full 44 seconds below the previous record. It turned out to be a great event for the team from San Francisco.
I think this is the real athletic competition. You're running over 3 miles, and at the 5K run, the outright winner and the Masters winners here, including record times. You are?
Jeff Roth.
Jeff,
from Xerox.
From Xerox, right? In the area you're from?
Dallas.
Dallas, Texas, right. You have a chance to run almost all year long down there, right?
Oh, sure. It's really nice there still.
Would you say that that has really been your sport over the years, competitive running?
Yeah, I've been running since high school, so it's been quite a while now.
And this is Clifford
Dorland.
Clifford Dorland, that's right. You won the Masters, which involved a little bit older group, right?
Right. It's 35 and over, but to me it should be 40 and over.
Why? Because you are?
Because nationally it's always 40 and over. In other words, I'll be 43 in about 3 weeks. I have to compete with somebody 35, 8 years younger than I am.
And you still came away with a record time.
Right. I've been training very, very, very hard.
Yeah, that's 3 varies. That's not fooling around there.
The Frisbee competition consists of a man and woman team, and they throw from 3 different stations for cumulative points. And Texaco won the Frisbee with a combined score of 120. This is Mike Stambaugh, the male member of the team, who scored 80 points. His teammate Annie Marinaccio contributed 40. Texaco, representing New York, came from way behind. They were tied for 6th with 70 points in the preliminaries and apparently saved it all because they win it in the finals with a combined 120-point score.
Daddy, what's Vietnam?
What's Vietnam? A question a child might ask, but not a childish question. A question that in the past has led not to answers, but only to other questions. What were we fighting for? Why didn't we just drop the bomb? How could we fight an enemy we couldn't even see?
Did all those people die?
Time Life Books and Boston Publishing present The Vietnam Experience, the series designed to answer the nagging questions.
Did we win the war, Daddy?
Each volume looks at the war from every point of view. No matter where you stood, you'll gain new insights into your own position, as well as those you may have opposed. You'll attend secret meetings at the White House and walk into an ambush to draw enemy fire. From Khe Sanh to Chicago to Saigon, you'll be there, learning much you didn't know about Vietnam and much you didn't know about America.
Why did we fight the war, Daddy?
Call toll-free and start putting the Vietnam experience into focus with Combat Photographer. You'll see what it was like over there from a perspective the media couldn't provide, an historic perspective that only now are we able to consider. It is important that we honor and remember those who gave their lives for our country, but honoring isn't enough. remembering isn't enough. We must answer the question, what's Vietnam? For ourselves and for the next generation.
Will I have to fight in a war, Daddy?
To order your first book, call now, 1-800-248-5400. It'll be sent to you free for 10 days. Keep it and pay just $14.95, plus shipping and handling. Others will follow about one every other month. Keep the ones you want, cancel anytime. So call 1-800-248-5400.
Coverage of the obstacle course is sponsored by Texaco, where you can trust your car to the products with the star. Next up is the most difficult event they have here in the battle finals. That's the obstacle course, and who better to face a challenge than Olympic medalist Rowdy Gaines.
Now, the obstacle course is 60 yards, and there's a lot of little things, so pay attention. Over a 3-foot horse first. Under a tunnel, you got to keep going into that tunnel, and then you got the tires right here, and you slip through these tires really easily. Oh, yeah, I'm moving along all right. You got to touch the first rung, and then after that, you got to touch the last rung. After that, you have a little 2x4 that you just slip right along, and then I'm going to hurdle this baby right here, and then slip around these little cones right here, and I am finished. One thing I got to do, fish out of water.
First up, in the obstacle course.
All right, this is going to be the obstacle course, and they've done this a little differently this year. For the finals, they have run preliminaries and narrowed it down to the top 6 teams, so these people will run it again.
Next up for Texaco will
And the next team is Mick Patillo from Texaco. He had a time of 17:16 in the heats, but he fell off the bars and had to jump back up 2 other times. And you can look for a great time for Mick Patillo. In the local events that we've done for the last 4 or 5 years, he's always done great in this event.
Yeah, Mike, you said he shoots for this event every year, and I think he's really psyched up for a second time around. I think he's glad he's getting a second chance.
I'll bet he's got an obstacle course set up in his backyard. Mick lives for this, and he's got a great time.
Yeah, he made up for it.
seems to be the best of the day.
The best times ever in the battle, 12:06 for the men, but that was on a somewhat shorter obstacle course. That record's going to stand forever. The women's best time was 15:01. So Texaco has a real shot here at improving their times. Next up is Stacy Hendry of Texaco.
Now, she's just got to be careful, making sure she doesn't get any penalties here, because Mick ran such a good race.
Really took about 4 seconds off their team time, which would have given them a 2-second lead overall.
Good, solid race. Real good, solid race there.
And the electronic scoreboard malfunctioned, so we can't give you an exact time on that.
17.61.
17.61 is what we're told, and that's 2/100ths of a second better than she did in the heats. So that means that Texaco is going to have the time to shoot for it. Rollman Haas was the team that had the best time in the heats, and they were the odds-on favorite to win this. But Tim Sanborn, who is maybe the best obstacle course runner out there, Rowdy, makes a mistake at the end with the cones. You have to go around them and not over them.
He ran a brilliant race all the way to the very end.
Sure did.
He clears this hurdle really nice, and this is it right here. Going around the cones, he lifts his knee over the top of the cone.
Yeah.
And that's considered illegal.
And you can see how quickly he got through it as opposed to the other runners who really had to slow down and cost themselves a second and a second and a half. But they did it the way it's supposed to be done. Here are the official results from the obstacle course in a time of 31:54. Texaco finishes first. American Security Bank 33:05 will take second place. And it's G.E. Kalma in 33:28. They are number 3. All right, this will be the run that really won it for Texaco. This is Mick Patillo. He had all sorts of problems in the preliminaries, but they made the finals, and then he made the most of it.
He's real smooth the whole way through. He's very strong. His upper body's real strong, so he gets through this the rungs on the bars really well, and hurdles this hurdle right here really nice.
Now watch the cones. This is the way you have to do it. You have to go around them. It costs you time, but that's the way the event is set up, and Mick Patillo did it textbook. Let's go down and meet the winner.
What do you think the key is in an obstacle course situation where you have to compete against others in that kind of obstacle course?
I think a lot of practice really helps you get the rhythm down so that you can go through quicker.
Well, we all know New York City is filled with obstacles.
you like to draw or paint, or maybe just sketch or doodle? Well, if you do, chances are you have the interest needed to become a serious art student. And here's how you can find out. By simply calling toll-free, Art Instruction Schools will send you without cost or obligation this enjoyable art test. You take it at home, in your spare time, and when you've finished, you simply mail it in. Your test is then reviewed and graded by experts, and that's all there is to it. So call or write today for your art test, and don't let the wonderful world of art pass you by. To get your free art test, call this toll-free number or write to Art Test and give your name, address, and age. Don't delay. Call this number now. Call 1-800-544-1000.
You're watching the volleyball final, and it's Arthur Anderson leading Westinghouse. Arthur Anderson in red and white, leading 8-2. The first game was won by Westinghouse 11-8, but Arthur Anderson has come back. They won the second game 11-9, and right now they are leading 8-2. Westinghouse will now be serving.
You coined the perfect word a while ago, Mike, the California Killers. Arthur Anderson from Chicago defeated 3 California teams. Hewlett-Packard in the first round from San Francisco, GE from San Diego in the second round, and they defeated an always tough NBC team from Los Angeles in the third round. And they are tough. They are fighters, and they will not quit.
It's 8-3 right now, and for the first time ever, we do not have California teams in the finals. How about Westinghouse?
Westinghouse from Baltimore defeated really tough opponents. They defeated Texaco of New York, Xerox of Dallas, and in a very difficult match with a lot of long points, they eliminated Amdahl of Santa Clara in the semis, 11-3 and 11-8.
Well, I can honestly tell you, Rowdy alluded to it, Westinghouse was dead in the water. They were walking around with their head down. They weren't getting up on the jumps. They weren't doing anything right, and it's like somebody turned a switch.
There it is. Good drop.
11-10 Westinghouse.
You got to win by 2, though. You got to win by 2 points.
Right now, I'd hate to bet against them.
Boy, I tell you, they're on a roll. When they were down 10-3, I think, at one point.
10-3, I believe. 9-2 and 10-3. This has just been unbelievable. And they've got a chance to win it all right here.
They just have to be real careful.
Now is not the time to get tentative.
Right.
Is that it?
That's it. Westinghouse.
Westinghouse with an incredible comeback wins it 12-10 after being down 10-3. That's just unbelievable.
That was great.
We are with Team Westinghouse out of Baltimore, MD. A thrilling come-from-behind victory. Way to go. Let's get some individual names over here. Let's start over there.
Ian Trexler.
Bill Hand. Dan Stevens, the 5th.
Dennis Adams.
Leslie Watson. Nora Davis.
Nora, you are the team captain, right?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, Nora.
You worked pretty much all summer on perfecting a volleyball team concept, right?
Yes, we worked very hard. Indoors, outdoors, on the beach, anywhere we could find a play.
We have completed 12 of 21 events, and the leader is Arthur Anderson out of Chicago with 175 points. They took the lead with a second place in volleyball, getting 45 points for that. They have 175 and the lead. Only 5 points behind in second place, Hewlett-Packard out of San Francisco with 170 points. They have won 3 50-point events to help in their total. Third place team, 160 points, Westinghouse representing Baltimore, Maryland. Westinghouse made a great comeback in the volleyball competition to rack up 60 of their 160 points. In fourth place through 12 events with 145 points, Minneapolis-St. Paul Deluxe Check Printers. They have won a single event but piled up points in 5 others. In a tie for fifth place with 140 points, General Foods representing the state of Connecticut and Roman Haas, the upstart winners out of Philadelphia, both with 140 points. Neither team has won an event. In seventh place with 135 points and still in the hunt, American Security Bank. The number 8 team is Texaco out of New York. A 50-point finish in the fantastic flying frisbee competition put them up to 105 and really got them back into the competition. 9th place, 85 points, AT&T. Their big event was the mystery event where they finished first and got 50 points. The 10th place team, there's a tie for number 10 with 75 points between Amdahl out of San Jose, Santa Clara, and Plymouth out of Detroit. The 12th place team, Xerox, 70 points overall through 12 events. Their big one was the Taiwan On event where they picked up 50 points. In 13th place with 65 points, NBC representing Los Angeles. Here was a team that many thought, after being the runner-up 4 years in a row, would finally win the corporate battle. But right now they are mired in 13th place with 65 points. They have not won a single event. 14th place, Ralston Purina out of St. Louis. They have 40 points. And 15th place, GE Kalma representing a first-year city, San Diego. They have 20 points. And bringing up the rear, another first-year team, UPS out of Atlanta. They have been able to score only 5 points through 12 of 21 events in the corporate battle.
Ace is the place you come to for quality and more, and prices that are known across the land. Ace is the place.
The place for Ace Best Buys, like a swing arm lamp for $5.99.
Ace is the place.
GE 2-pack frosted bulbs for 19 cents after rebate, and Ace automatic night lights for $2.99 a pair.
Ace is the place with the help of Hardware Man.
Wall Street. Unpredictable, fast-paced. What happens here affects your investment and your future. Now, you're only a phone call away from the action with the Dow Jones Market Report. For a 1-minute update on the latest market news, call the Dow Jones Market Report. It's the shortest distance between you and Wall Street. Find out what's up. Call 1-900-976-4141 today. Cost per call is 50 cents from anywhere in the USA.
Live America's Cup racing tonight on ESPN. The determination and skill of Dennis Conner's Stars and Stripes brought a dramatic semifinal victory over the radically designed USA. Now Stars and Stripes faces their toughest competitor, the Kiwis of New Zealand, whose speed and expertise have dominated every round. Don't miss any of the excitement of the Challenger Finals live tonight at 11 Eastern. The America's Cup, Challenge Down Under, only on ESPN.
The Battle Swim Meet is brought to you by Reebok, the official outfitters of the corporate sports battle. You're looking at the headquarters of this year's Battle Finals, the beautiful Radisson Inn, a perfect place for an event like this where the staff and management have gone out of their way to make us feel welcome. And right on the grounds of the Radisson, one of the finest competitive swimming facilities you could find, the Justice Aquatic Center. Here's a look at the events we'll be seeing in the pool, including the premier events, the individual and the medley relays. And if history is any judge, it will all come down to the tug of war for the 1986 championship.
Rowdy Gaines, a lot of people understand that different tracks are faster or slower because of the way they're made up. Obviously, you're going to go faster on AstroTurf than you would on grass, concrete on versus grass. But how about swimming pools? Some of them are fast and some are slow.
You're right, Mike. It's all in the design. The pool, the depth of the pool is one thing. The deeper the pool, the better, because when a swimmer dives in the water, the waves go down to the bottom and come right back up in a shallow pool, creating turbulence. This is a uniformly deep pool. It's 7 feet deep all the way through. Also, the gutter system. On a regular pool, you notice how water bounces against the wall and comes right back. That creates turbulence. This is a flow-over gutter system. It goes right over the edge. It doesn't come back. The lane lines are one thing. The starting blocks have to be good. It's a good, spacious arena. It's a great pool.
Here is the way they will line up in the Masters 50 free. In lane 3, Ralston Purina, Greg Johns. In lane 4, Plymouth, Jim Lucas. In lane 5 with the fastest time in the heats of 23:05, a new battle record, NBC, John Secunda. In lane 6, Texaco, Rich Wallace. In lane 7, Hewlett-Packard, Lee Casuto. And in lane 8, General Foods, Paul McClintock. We are using lanes 3 through 8. Lane 8 is nearest the camera. Favorites once again in the middle of the pool in lane 5, NBC John Secunda. That will be the third lane in from the top of your screen.
Good start, all off together.
And Secunda in lane 5 and Rich Wallace in lane 6. It may be Wallace slightly ahead.
They flip right together. They got to get underneath that huge wave.
Secunda's got the lead. Secunda of NBC in lane 5.
Rich Wallace a little bit. Here comes Rich Wallace. Rich Wallace, I think, got him. He did. That's a big upset. Rich Wallace.
Rich Wallace time in 23:35. John Secunda in 23:51. 16/100ths of a second, and a great race for both Wallace and Secunda. Laura, on the replay, we'll be able to see how close it was halfway through.
It was very close, but at the turnaround, you can see John Secunda from NBC is just a little bit ahead.
Yeah, the thing is, you're right, Laura, but right about here, he starts to tie up a little bit. His arms get a little tight. They're not going around as quick. He's not pulling enough water. And as they come into the wall, they're still pretty even right here. But here's where Rich really makes his move. Right here, the last stroke. He takes that long extra stroke. John took an extra half stroke, and that's what cost him the race.
Rich Wallace a winner in 23:35. John Secunda in second place at 23:51 after setting a battle record in the preliminaries of 23:05. We've got the 50-yard freestyle for women for you, and the defending champion in this event from NBC is Mickey Verkylen.
Yes, we should definitely watch for Mickey Verkylen. She was the defending champion, as you said, from last year with a time of 26.74. But we have to watch for Pam Davis-Bennett in lane 5. She has a time of 25.81, almost a full second faster than Mickey.
So here's the way they will line up in the women's 50 free. In lane 3, American Security Bank, Colleen Hallahan. Lane 4, Deluxe Check Printers, Lynette Vatsis. The favorite in lane 5, Hewlett-Packard, Pam Davis-Bennett, 25:81 in the heats, the fastest time. The defending champion in lane 6, NBC, Mickey Verkylen. In lane 7, AT&T, Sue Wharton. And in lane 8, Arthur Anderson, Terry Bach. Rowdy, how much of an advantage is it to be in the middle of that pool?
It's a big advantage because you can see swimmers on either side of you going down the pool and also coming back, so you know exactly where you're at. If you're on one of the outside lanes, you have no idea where you're at.
This is the women's 50 free open. Don King trying to get them set.
They've got to all come down together. I think that's one of them. That's a good start. They're off together.
And it's a 5-way race right now, and it looks like Mickey Verkylen may have the slight lead, but here comes Pam Davis-Bennett to the wall, and she's got the lead. That's Pam Davis-Bennett of Hewlett-Packard starting to stretch it out.
She's just got a great turnover. She's real strong in the water. Good legs at the end.
And she'll win it. Pam Davis-Bennett of Hewlett-Packard. She really stretched it out. Laura, very close at the turn. It looked like Mickey Verkylen actually had the better turn.
Yeah, it really did. But after the turn, Pam Davis-Bennett from Hewlett-Packard in lane 5, she was just very, very strong. She just pulled ahead.
You know, as they go on the wall, she's just got such a strong stroke, just nice and long underneath the water, and she's got a great finish, tremendous finish.
So Pam Davis-Bennett of Hewlett-Packard wins it in 25:56, and they are contending for the championship here in Orlando. Next up is the men's 50 free, not to be confused with the men's Masters 50, which we have already had. Who do you like in this one, Rowdy?
George Hebner from Westinghouse. He's in lane 5. He's got to be the favorite in the race. He went 22 flat in the regionals. He went 22.7 in the prelims, and he told me before the race that he didn't have a good start and didn't really have a good turn. So you got to look for him to be the favorite.
and this is the way they'll line up in the 50 free for men. In lane 3, Hewlett-Packard, Steve Hares. In lane 4, American Security Bank, Andreas Barzdukas. In lane 5, with the fastest time in the heats, 22:74, Westinghouse, George Hebner. In lane 6, Arthur Anderson, Phil Witry, 23:09 in the heats. Lane 7, Texaco, Rich Wallace. And in lane 8, from NBC, Alex Hendry. Once again, the favorite, lane 5, Westinghouse. That's the 3rd lane from the top of your screen. George Hebner, who had 22:74 in the preliminaries. Good start this time. And Hebner with a very slight lead. Barzdukas in lane 4 and Witry in lane 6 right with him. Barzdukas over in lane 4 has the lead.
And this is where Rich Hebner might have some problems coming into the wall. George Hebner, excuse me.
And it's American Security Bank. Andreas Barzdukas pulls off the upset in 22:91. The favorite in this race was George Hebner of Westinghouse, but Andreas Barzdukas pulled off the upset.
Had a super turn. As you see right here, he came off the wall and started stroking right away. I think George waited a little bit too long to start swimming off the turn, and that's what killed him. Plus, he ties up a little bit here at the end, and Andreas just takes it into the wall.
Let's go down to Roy Firestone. He's got the winners of all 3 50-yard dash events.
Okay, Michael, thank you very much. And we start here with Andreas Barzdukas, and that is, I guess, the flash Lithuanian swimmer. You just came off maybe the biggest upset thus far.
Well, I knew going into the race that George Hebner from Westinghouse was going to be really tough. But my teammates got behind me and got all excited here, and it worked out.
Thanks, Andreas. Let's move over here to Rich Wallace, who won earlier this morning. A kind of a tight race, actually. The margin of victory in the hundreds of seconds, winning in the Masters 50. You had a virus earlier in the week. You were in the hospital, right?
Yeah, the first night we were down here in Florida, I went to a very nice hospital here and got some treatment for nausea. And but I felt good enough today to beat the fellow from NBC. It was quite a thrill.
Let's move over to Pam Davis-Bennett. She